Hey there, Doug here. Happy Monday after the Super Bowl. And this week we have a super interview. And it's pretty cool for me because it's a film that I grew up loving. And I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. So he's done so many movies. And just like when people love a certain music artist or actor, they go back to the beginning. And this is the beginning for Kevin Smith. He did the movie Clerks. And the amazing woman that I interviewed had one of the more important roles in the film. She played Veronica, and her name's Marilyn Ghigliotti. Marilyn was so cool on two levels. Obviously, she was in this movie, and she's from Jersey. She's actually from Middlesex County in Sayreville. Now she's out in California, but she was cool to talk to because she is somebody that loves acting. Right from the beginning, right when she started doing it, she it's something she wants to do. Even to this day, she wants to make it as an actress, and I root for her hard because you'll hear the passion when we talk. And this is Marilyn Ghigliotti. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Great, great. Thanks so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And I don't know, I don't think we ever communicated this through email, but I'm from New Jersey too, and not too far from where you went to high school.
Oh, where?
South Plainfield, so Middlesex County.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, not too far. So that's pretty cool. So just one thing, I usually start off right away, but one thing that really caught my eye was the I don't even know what you call it, like the body, not the body, but the bottom, like your signature on your email. I love that quote. That's so cool. Are you more afraid of making it or to never have tried at all?
Yeah. It was something that kind of came to me one time. It's like trying to figure my life out. And so it's like I asked myself the question. It's like, well, what scares me more, if I make it or I don't?
No, that's good because it like motivates yourself. No, I thought that was really cool.
Thank you.
I went to high school. I don't know if you had any relatives in the South Plainfield area, but that's why like a lot of people, like people can never pronounce my last name, but I saw yours and I'm like, oh, I know that. Ghigliotti, because I went to school with a kid that had that last name. So
Really?
Yeah, in South Plainfield. I'm sure it's just like another name, but like my last name, if there was anybody named Dietzel in New Jersey, I was related to them.
Well, I mean, like I don't know anybody in South Plainfield, but then again, maybe I just didn't know that they went to South Plainfield. Got family, and it's like usually did they spell it the same way?
I think so. I would think so. I could double check that and get back to you, but no.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to find out who it is.
So just like any story, there's a beginning to it. So where does your story begin? Where did you grow up?
I moved around a lot. So I was born in New York.
Cool.
But my earliest childhood memory is in Cambria Heights, Queens. And from there, we moved to Long Island, from Long Island to Jersey, from Jersey to Puerto Rico, where my parents are from Puerto Rico back to Jersey.
Oh, wow.
And then to a different part of New Jersey, because it's like the interim from just before moving to Puerto Rico and then coming back from Puerto Rico, we were living with an aunt of mine who lived in Parlin. And so then, and then, from Jersey, once I got married, then just did some more moves. So.
That's cool. Yeah. I always love talking to people that are from New Jersey because I think, obviously you have the roots in like New York and Queens and then Long Island, but I don't know. There's just a lot of people that come from New Jersey and there's just like a different way. Like me and my wife lived in Portland, Oregon for a few years before we moved back to Jersey. And we were just told by people that we were very like aggressive, but me and her are probably two of the nicest, calmest people. But I guess there's just that little edge from growing up in that area, like right so close to New York City.
Yeah, I know. For me as well, because I've got that that Latina in me. So yeah, people think that when I'm talking sometimes, it's like, oh, calm down. It's like, I'm not angry or anything. I'm just passionate. Well, I was like, there's just, it's like you get passionate about whatever it is that you're talking about sometimes.
So when was the first time that you had like that light bulb aha moment that you wanted to like pursue acting? Was it like doing the makeup first?
No, well, no, not at all. When I was younger and I sat in front of the TV and would watch musicals, that would be on TV, I had an itch for dancing. And I would ask about taking dancing lessons, but that's just not something that my parents really, it's like I'm first generation here in the States. They themselves, they were born in Puerto Rico, where they just, got by. So, coming out here and, or coming to the States and being able to make a living, and be a little bit better off than they were growing up, that's just, it was a luxury. So that's not something that, they kind of put out there for us.
Yeah.
So basically, once I got older and was kind of working for myself, then I finally took those dance lessons that I wanted. But I mean, you could see that it seemed to be something that drew me, just the entertainment in some way, or shape or form, or creativity. And it wasn't until I did get older and it was taking those dance lessons, and then eventually kind of was making my way to kind of find something else after a divorce, that I found my way into an acting class. And then after studying for a couple of years, then I decided, it was like, all right, let's put this to use, and started doing the community theater circuit auditions. And until you get yourself known, it's like, oh, you know what, let's give her a chance. And so then it just went from there. But the first time that I found myself on that stage is when I was just like, yep, this is it.
What was do you remember the first play that you had?
It was a Chekhov play. And it was a series of acts. It wasn't an actual play, meaning that there were different vignettes. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, cool.
And I played the girl. I'm sure if you do a search for that, then you'll realize what the girl means. But the vignette was Dad taking his son to become a man.
Oh,
and so that.
And where was this? On your biography, it said in South Jersey.
It was in Central Jersey.
Oh, okay,
Funny thing is, this was in the basement of a church, and once some of the churchgoers got wind of all these plays and the vignettes, it's like they wanted this particular vignette taken out. Now, mind you, there was nothing other than a speech going on, talk between the three people that were on stage. There was nothing vulgar about it at all. but
So how long were you doing that? Like just the play circuit before you started? Like the first thing that's on your IMDb, and I know this is like never right, but it has you as a rape victim in Invasion for Flesh and Blood 91.
Well, funny thing that Clerks was shot before that.
No way. It was shot. Wow.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was. But you know how it is. It's like, things are shot and then they come out, almost like a year later and stuff like that. Just like Clerks was shot in October of 93, and then it released like a full year later or something like that.
Okay.
Something like that. Anyway. And so, yeah, I can't remember. It's like, and this was just a small little thing that I did, and which I wish I hadn't anyway. But hindsight.
Yeah, but at that time, it's like the first. I've talked to a lot of actors that their first movie is like something they would never want to be in. This one guy I interviewed, Sean Kanan, who's like on a bunch of like he's been on like over 1,000 soap episodes, like all the different soaps, and he was in Karate Kid 3, he played the bad guy. But he was in this really B horror movie called like Hide and Go Streak. And when I mentioned it, he almost fainted over the phone. He was like, "Oh no, not that!" And he like told me the stories about like how bad it was, like the whole filming process and the way directors were like treating everybody. But yeah, you got to start somewhere, and then from there, you got such a cool role, and I think one of the like just the coolest looking shot films, and it's shot in New Jersey, so I think that's even cooler. But Clerks, how did that whole thing come about?
So I was in the middle of doing a play in Red Bank, and I found out about the auditions through the circuit, as you will, because they were being held at the First Avenue Playhouse, where I had done some plays.
Oh, okay.
And so things just kind of got back, because it's like once you kind of do the circuit, you kind of are familiar with a lot of the other people and a lot of the other places that because we all audition or have worked at one of the theaters in the area. So found out about the auditions, had a monologue ready, and once I did the monologue, I can't remember exactly how many days it was after the fact that Kevin did call me, and he wanted me to come out to the convenience store, get the script, read it, see if I was comfortable. And so, yeah, I took it home. I read it the next day while I was at work in between clients. I was laughing. I was like, yeah, I'll do this. So
I love that you went to, and that's the same convenience store that they shot at?
Yeah.
That's so great. You went to the place that was like where most of the movie was shot. Well, pretty much all movie. That's so cool. And I thought one thing that was really cool, I saw this movie years ago, but I rewatched it today, and you had such a cool entrance when you were reading through the script. Was that the way it was finalized? When you read that, you're like, man, that's so badass.
Well, I mean, honestly, I can't. It's 25 years ago.
Oh, no.
I can't remember what exactly it said in the script and whether it was like that or not. To my knowledge, I really honestly can't remember. But, when I went in the store, it's like, yeah, it's all right, come on up to on top of the refrigerator. Here's the fire extinguisher, which I'm sorry, I'm going to ruin it for you. Was never shot, by the way. I did not get to shoot that fire extinguisher, and the fire extinguisher was never shot. So yeah, and I think it's pretty cool entrance.
Yeah, no, I think that movie's so cool. While you guys are all making this, because it was shot on like such a super small budget, I think it was like $27,000. When it was done and you were able to like see it for the first time, was it like surreal? From when did you start doing those acting classes? Was that like 88 or 89 around there?
I started taking, oh gosh. Let's see. 18, around 87, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, around 87-ish.
So not too much later, you're in a movie that, like how successful it was. But when you saw yourself for the first time, like on screen, was that just surreal?
Yeah, it still is. It still gets surreal sometimes.
That's really honestly. Awesome. No, because when you're in a play, you really, I'm sure back when you were doing that, somebody could, recorded a play and you could watch yourself, but I just don't think it's the same because you're like capturing yourself in this moment. And then
exactly.
Where was the premiere? Did Kevin like do something locally?
We didn't have the big.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Big glammy premiere that we just did for Bob Reboot. We basically, oh gosh, there was a theater in Hazlitt where we all went, and I know the name has changed probably a million times since then, so I don't know what it's called now, and I don't remember what it was. So anyway, we all went there, and we did signings of posters.
I think
pretty much for me, that's what I consider our premiere.
Oh yeah.
Because we kind of had something over in New York where we then went to not the Hard Rock Cafe, but what used to be, that it was like the Hard Rock Cafe, but it was owned by three actors: Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Planet Hollywood.
Planet Hollywood, yes. I never remember Planet. I remember Hollywood, but never. So we had something over at Planet Hollywood, a little gathering, party and all this kind of stuff. But again, it wasn't the big snazzy woo, red carpet type of thing.
But it's cool because you can still. Did you guys go watch it in Hazlitt? Do you like sit in the back of the movie theater and like watch other people watching you?
I'm sure we did, but I honestly don't remember.
So isn't that funny? 25 years later, that movie comes out, and then you have a big premiere for the reboot, and you were in that, right? I didn't get a chance to see it.
Yeah. It's a quick little cameo. Don't blink, but it's pretty obvious. When you can't miss it. Even though I say don't blink.
But that's cool.
It was fun to get to go to New Orleans for the quick minute that I was there. But to be with all the other guys and just hang around while they were shooting all different kinds of scenes in that room all night. So it was fun.
That's awesome. And it was really cool, those photos that you posted when you found out. That is really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been holding on to those since we shot, which was in March.
Wow. There's got to be, I'm sure somebody has a video of it. It's still great. But just from like the second and the third photo, what did you like whisper it or?
Kevin kept letting out little spoilers while he was shooting. And so we thought it's like, he'll let out a spoiler about this, but he never did. So I was like, oh crap, I can't say anything. And people would ask, some people who didn't know, it's like, oh yeah, I was in New Orleans for a quick minute. And some people who, know my background then would kind of maybe put two and two together, but I never said anything. And then some people, as it got closer to reboot time, people would ask if I was in it. And I'm like, well, I can't confirm, I can't deny, but Nola was beautiful. So, it's little things like that.
Well, that's cool that they're, because at the end of the first one, there's kind of like a hanging, like you think Dante's going to go chase after you. And then that didn't happen. So it'd be pretty cool if something like that does happen.
I don't know. I have no idea how he's going to write 3. I mean, he has already said that, it's out there. It's easily Googleable. That he's writing his heart attack into the script. That one of the guys is going to have a heart attack, but it's like Randall basically has nothing, because being that he doesn't have any family or whatever, and it's like he wants to do something to be remembered. So they're going to make a film. This is I've seen it in print, so I'm not giving anything away.
Yeah.
But how he's going to write everything else in there, I have no idea. And I'm sure he has even finished, being that he is on the Reboot Roadshow tour.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. No, he's a pretty awesome guy. I used to record my podcast at his buddy Ming Chang's studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I saw he had like I think he was in Reboot too, right?
Yes, all the guys from Comic Book Men were in there.
That's
and
awesome.
Because basically Jay and Silent Bob have to go to a Chronic Con convention. And so they're running into they're running away from the security guard and running into these panels. And, so they happen to run into a Comic Book Men panel, into a Clerks panel, and many other different kinds of panels.
That's pretty awesome. So over your career, enough with the Clerks for now. I have a question about something later, but so from there, you obviously you're still acting. Is there a role that you had over the years? Because some of these movies, there's so many movies that are out there, you can't see them all. Is there any of these
Yeah.
movies that you have like a favorite role, or you think a movie just, it just didn't get out there enough for a lot of people to see that you hold near and dear?
Well, I mean, I just like you will never pick a favorite child.
I
will
know.
never pick a favorite role. I mean, there are several roles that I've done that I really like and love for different reasons. But I think
You could say more than one. You could say more than one.
Well, I know. I've done some, and the thing is too, it's like a lot of the roles that I've taken on purposely in a certain way to diversify my appearance out there for casting directors and other directors, and to seeing that's like I have range. It's not not just comedy that I've done.
Yeah.
So I've done horror film, I've done sci-fi, I've done dramatic items and stuff like that. So I'd like to say that a good portion of what I've done, I really wish it could get out there. Especially, all right, someone that I've worked with is Neil Johnson. I've done 3 sci-fi films for him, and he's someone that I always enjoy working with. And pretty easy mixing up another film that I did with him that has not been released yet. But he gives me some, even though they're small parts, he gives me something to work with those parts, which I really enjoy. And how he's not better known out there, I don't understand, because he puts out some pretty decent work.
Oh, that's cool. I'm looking at Alien Armageddon right now. It just so happened I clicked on that one just before you said his name.
So yeah, and then the other one that is not out yet that he is actually working on is Evolution. Evolution
sweet.
War. Yeah. So yeah, always fun to work with him.
Yeah, and no, I think that's smart what you said. Just try and being in different genres so you're not like pigeonholed into comedy or one specific one. And it's fun to be able to be in different types of roles, horror, sci-fi. Now that's really cool that you're able to do all of that.
Right. And to also kind of stretch myself, and it took a long time for me as well to challenge myself, because at a certain point, and that's where kind of, you were saying how on my signature, you said you like my little saying.
Oh yeah.
That's where part of that came from, because living out here in California for 22 years now, it's not been easy at all. And it's been very difficult at certain times. And where it's like, you're thinking to yourself, is this when I have to quit? Or do I keep going? And certain fears and different emotions that just happen, living out here, which is not easy to begin with because prices are so ridiculous on a lot of things. So you kind of get to a point where it's like, all right, why is it not happening? Why are certain things happening? And you kind of run through a load of emotions. And so that's where that came from. And then, figuring out, it's like, all right, I realized that I was just kind of holding myself back and in some areas. And so I needed to kind of break through that.
No, that's awesome. No, that's good that you're, and California is expensive, and you don't have good bagels or good pizza. Or we lived in Portland, and it was like, pizza was not only gross, it was super expensive, which made no sense. It was insane how much more expensive than it is in the tri-state area.
Wow. Well, I mean, there have been a few places out here that you can find with some decent pizza.
They probably ship the water out.
There's one place they don't ship the water out, but he has some kind of a water system that creates the same kind of water as their. I think the name of the place is Ghost Pizza. I've not had their pizza, I'm really not supposed to have any of that stuff anymore because unfortunately I have an autoimmune disease now, and so there are certain things that I'm not supposed to have anymore. I cheat a little bit here and there, but that cheating has to kind of come to a stop pretty soon. If I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and I've had a thyroid disease ever since I actually moved out here to California.
Oh, wow.
But it's just kind of gotten a little worse. Let's just say.
So one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, and I saw it seems like you were probably on set for this for a while, for shooting Clerks, like the I think I guess it's kind of like a documentary-ish.
It's not a documentary; it's a biopic.
Oh, biopic.
Yeah. So they premiered it at the San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, cool.
This past summer. Now they had a few screenings in the past couple of years, but up until recently, they were still putting in little cameos of many people involved with Clerks.
Oh, cool.
But essentially what happened is Christopher Downey, who's from Scotland and a fan himself, in the past he had made these little short films called Aldriki, something like that. And so they were basically based on Kevin and Jason. So then he would get a lot of the information from the 10th anniversary DVD and just put all the information that he could gather from there and many other places so that he can do an actual film about Kevin shooting Clerks. So that's where the name Shooting Clerks comes from.
Oh, okay.
He did take some liberties here and there for dramatization purposes, because there are some things that, you know, we were kind of, some people would question us about it. It's like, well, this didn't go exactly like that, but so like I said, certain liberties were taken.
Yeah, I guess that would happen time to time. Now, were you doing the makeup for that, or is that right?
Well, no. Well,
oh, okay.
Yes and no. Here's the thing. It's like last year, they were out here for San Diego Comic-Con for a panel, and they showed a little bit of the film, just little teasers. But there was another scene that they were shooting with Jason. And so they shot that while they were out here in California. So while they were here, I actually helped them with hair and makeup for those little few scenes that they did. But I've helped them along the way in many aspects and whatever they needed, and then promoting. And so myself and Brian and Scott and Ernie, it's like we all kind of have a little producer credits on there.
Yeah, I saw that. No, the reason I asked is I was wondering what it's like to have somebody play you. I don't know if you ever saw the actress like in that.
I did. Yeah.
What is that like?
No, weird, completely weird. And yeah, I mean, I was anxious about even seeing the whole thing.
I bet.
Once it came to that, and I'm still just, yeah, it's not a great feeling. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it'd be weird, especially somebody who's trying to get inside the character. If they we're in an elevator talking to you, then they start like trying to like repeat your words back to try to sound like you. It'd be kind of weird, but that's cool.
Yeah, well, this is something that's usually done with, way older actresses, about their story, or someone who's dead already. I don't know.
So Marilyn, you have a few things that are coming out pretty soon. I'm sure you're excited for all of them, but one thing that I saw in there was Thursday the 12th.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that film is even finished.
Oh, okay. It just has on there completed. And I just thought the name was pretty clever because growing up, I love the movie Saturday the 14th, which was like a mock of Friday the 13th. So
right.
I saw this.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, okay.
and unfortunately, I don't know the full script. It's like I was just given a part. And a funny story to me actually having a part in that, though, is Brad, who's the writer and director of this. We've conversed and texted back and forth through the years. It's like he interviewed me for a podcast that he was doing. And one day I was just out and about. I got a text from him. How you doing? And I'm like, oh, good. How's things and all this kind of stuff. And then he says, it's like, how'd you like to be in a movie? It's like, oh, yeah, it's like, let me know. It's like, well, tonight. I'm like, what? I actually had just walked into Big Lots store out here. And so he told me what was happening and what was going on. I'm like, okay, let me leave. Let me go home, pack something real quick, and I'll just make my way to the airport. So while I was doing all that, he was making the reservations for me to get on the plane. And so I got to the airport and my reservations were there. So, and then I was shooting that weekend. But yeah, Thursday the 12th is basically the premise, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So what happens before all that? But again, I'd say I don't know the premise of the film because I only know my scene that I shot, and I own a store in a mall, and these two guys come in there and they're acting all weird, and I basically tell them to get out. I mean, it's really so there's no way that I can even tell what is going on, but with just my scene.
And then another one I saw in here was Coachella.
That has been in development for quite some time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm hoping that it would get done sometime soon, but it's been in development for, I would say, at least 3, maybe more years.
Oh, wow. I saw Kane Hodder's name on there, and I interviewed one of his good buddies, and then I interviewed his agent too. And when I saw that name, I'm like, oh, that'd been great if you, it'd be great if you I hear he's the nicest guy from people I talked to.
I met him. Cool. I met him at one convention that I did in Pennsylvania. Yeah, nice guy.
How is that going to? This is one question I always ask people, but I think it's a little different because you're in such a movie that people are almost not religious to, but Clerks is like one of those movies that people love, which is understandable, but there's like an obsession with it. Like I definitely know in New Jersey with some of my buddies growing up, they love Kevin Smith, everything he does, and like go down there, take photos there and stuff like all the time, whenever they're in that area. But for you, like when you go to those Comic Cons, like you said, when you see the movie, like seeing yourself on there, surreal. What is it like when people come up and like ask for your autograph?
At this stage, having done conventions now for I don't even know how many years. How long has the iPhone been out?
Oh, I don't know. I guess probably like 10 years, maybe even longer.
Okay, so I remember that's when I did my first convention because that's when the iPhone came out, and Nathan Fillion, we were in the back at the end of the convention. We're all waiting for our rides to the airport and stuff, and so he's just walking around on his phone, and I was just like, so is that the new iPhone? He's like, yeah, look at this. And he was just showing me all the different little gadgets that the iPhone had and stuff. So that's how I remember my first convention being, even though I don't remember the year. And this was in Florida. So at this point now, though, I mean, it's not as weird. But when someone did approach me about doing conventions, and, I didn't even know about conventions at all. I wasn't privy to it, had never heard about them, didn't know what they were about. And I wish I had, because it's something I totally would have gone to had I known about them, the whole costume, stuff like that. And I thought somebody was definitely pulling my leg, that they were just trying to scam me. And even though they're telling me that I would make money, with people signing autographs, it's like, who's going to pay me for my autograph? Get out. And they just happen to list a few people's names of who they had as clients. And I'm like, excellent. I can ask this person, that person, and that person because I know them.
Oh, cool.
And so I did. And so, yeah. So, but, at this point now, it's been so long that it's these people I know are coming to talk to me, to get an autograph, because they do, enjoy what it is that we have to give them and things like that. And a lot of them too, because we've socialized on social media.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool,
No, that's awesome. No, it's cool that, you can meet people that love what you did. So you can really, because when you're in a movie, it's not like you can see like people's enjoyment. So it's got to make you feel good too.
Yeah. I mean, well, for me, I really enjoy talking to them. I enjoy hearing their stories, what it meant to them and what it still means to them. Because for me, it's a little bit of a validation. And it gives me the strength to keep, striving for my goals, so to speak. Because yes, I was in a film that is loved by many people, and I've been in other independent films, but I am not making my living as an actress here. And so that is my goal, to be able to make a living as an actor and to not struggle every month, and it's like, I kind of hate to put that energy out there because I am one of those people who feels it's like, the energy that you put out is the energy that you're going to get back.
Oh yeah.
So, I hate to say that, but that's my story. That's what's happening. So I'm hoping to change that story.
And I hope you change it too. And I'm rooting for you. And I really hope Clerks 3, there is that storyline. I really would like to see where that could go. I think that'd be great. You and Dante, there has to be some kind of like storyline there. And that was so cool. The end of the movie, I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, man, you know what? I haven't seen Clerks 2 in forever. I was like, I got to see that and see what's going on there. But, well, this has been great. And thanks so much for taking the time. Anytime people sit down and take some time out of your day, I do appreciate it. And it was fun hearing your stories, and definitely just a fellow Middlesex, especially Middlesex County. You're the first Middlesex County person I've had. So that's pretty exciting.
Yes, same here. It's like, as far as, podcasts go, I don't think I've had anybody else from Middlesex County.
Woo.
From Jersey, I'm sure, but in Middlesex County, I don't know.
Man, wasn't Marilyn awesome? I really hope for Clerks 3 that they, go back to that storyline between Dante and Veronica. They had such good chemistry in that first film. So let's hope for that to happen, and let's wish her a lot of luck. I'll put all of her links so you can follow her on social media in the bio. And also, don't forget, this Thursday, we have an awesome interview with Vanessa Angel. You know her from Kingpin, Weird Science, a TV show. We're talking to her about Super Babies 2, Baby Geniuses. And she was pretty cool. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And check out our new website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.